Hey, let's live in Universe, it's Xander, and welcome back to WWE 2K Universe Mode. We're here for the final episode of Smackdown, the final episode of Universe before the TLC pay-per-view. Big night coming up at TLC, but we're kicking the show off tonight with some singles action before TLC. Seeing one of the number one contenders to one of the many championships on the line in action. So we have some singles action to kick us off as here comes the here comes the Women's Grand Slam winner, the only one we've got in LS11 Universe at the moment. And by Grand Slam, I do mean the only woman to hold the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT Women's Championships. Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades, making her way to the ring tonight. And she's taking on the woman who will be challenging Toni Storm for the SmackDown Women's Championship in a couple nights' time at TLC. TLC will be live tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as is usual with the premiere on the channel. Shayna Baszler making her way to the ring. And now here comes the boss, the woman who will be challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship at TLC. It's Sasha Banks. So it is Shayna and Sasha, one-on-one. Here we go. As Banks, whoa, rolls Baszler through. Covered by Banks. 1, 2, whoa, Baszler. Jackknife cover. 1, no, Sasha kicked out. Sasha rolls through, drop kick to Baszler. Sasha Banks went for a jumping neck breaker. Baszler rolled out of the way. And now Baszler with a kick to Banks. And another kick. Sasha Banks in trouble. Shayna Baszler stomps the arm. And now Baszler picks up Sasha, and Baszler went for a kick. Sasha spins her around. Sasha Banks slaps her. Here comes Banks, but Baszler knocks her back. And now Shayna grabs Sasha, picks her up, and look at this. Baszler suplexes her. And now Baszler with Sasha, seated position, grabs her by the arm, elbows her, and again takes out the arm. And now Sasha Banks, swats away Shayna. And now Sasha with a forearm strike. Shayna grabs her, and Shayna spinebuster to Banks. Goes for a kick. Banks catches the leg. Sasha Banks sweeps the leg of Shayna. Shayna pulling herself up to her feet. Sasha picks her up now, and Sasha, right hand, knocks her into the ropes. Sasha Banks grabs Baszler, and look at this, hangs her up in the ropes. Swinging neckbreaker off the ropes. Picks her back up to her feet now. Sasha, right hand to Shayna, puts her in the corner. Sasha kicks her, has her going off the ropes. Whoa, what an arm drag off the ropes from Banks. And now Banks mocking Baszler now. Baszler getting up at the knees of Banks. And no, Baszler kicks her in the ribs. Down Shayna. Oh, what a knee strike. And now Shayna standing over Sasha. Shayna has her down now. Shayna turns her over. Grabs Sasha. Camel clutch. And on Banks. Slides out into the rope. Knocks her down. And now Banks. Oh, Baszler with an elbow strike. Baszler. Oh, Banks arm drag. Banks. Oh, scooped up by Baszler. Spinebuster. Shayna turns her over now. Shayna, cover on Sasha. 1, no, Sasha kicks out. And now Sasha picked up by Baszler, and Baszler grabs Banks. Baszler, oh, Sasha counters, knocks her back. Sasha Banks. Meteora. 1, no. Sasha Banks going up to the top. And Sasha going to come off the top. Did you know Eddie Guerrero's her hero? She hits a frog splash. 2, Shayna kicks out. Banks has been doing pretty well in this matchup. Very, very few people have been able to take Shayna Baszler like this. Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley, Ronda Rousey. Those are the only people who have managed to beat Shayna Baszler in the past. As now Shayna gut wrench to Sasha Banks. And Shayna with another gut wrench. Rolls over. Cover on Banks. 1, 2. No. Sasha Banks kicked out. Yeah, Shayna's only lost 4 one-on-one matches. Twice to Toni Storm, once to Rhea Ripley, once to Ronda Rousey. And now Baszler goes for a kick. Banks turns her around. Banks with a drop kick. And now Sasha Banks scoops Baszler up. Sasha Banks. Right hand to Baszler. Into. Backstabber. Into. Banks statement. Baszler rolls out of it. Cover on Banks. 1, 2. No. Sasha kicked out. Sasha couldn't believe it for a moment. Baszler went for a kick. Banks. No. Baszler knocks her back. And now Shayna grabs Sasha. German suplex. Sasha pulls herself back to her feet, though. Sasha Banks went for a clothesline. Baszler suplexes her. Sasha Banks goes down. And now Sasha trying to pull herself up in the ropes, but Baszler stomps her in the back again. And Sasha trying to pull herself up in the ropes again, but again Baszler stomps her in the back. Baszler cutting off any chance for Banks to breathe right now. Cover. 1. No. Sasha kicks out again. Right hand. Baszler. No. Sasha kicks her in the back. Now Sasha. Well, Baszler. Elbow strikes. Baszler's had Banks well scouted in this one. But Banks knocks her into the ropes, and now Sasha Banks. She's going to do it again. Hangs Baszler up in the ropes. Into the swinging neck breaker. And now Sasha Banks. Going up top. Banks. Elbow drop off the top. And now she picks Baszler back up to her feet, and Sasha kicks her. Banks. Oh, Baszler has Banks now by the arm. And the submission magician looking to work her magic. Knocks her back. Baszler with Banks into the corner. Baszler with a knee strike. Shoves Banks away. Baszler spins her around. And right back across the ring she goes. Baszler, now what's she going to do? No, Sasha managed to roll out of it. Knocks down Baszler. Kicks her in the ribs. Sasha turns her around. Sasha Banks rolls Baszler through. Covered by Banks. Here we go. 1, 2. No. For a kick. Sasha out of the way. Sasha gets grabbed by Shayna. Shayna throws her in the corner. Shayna Baszler now with Sasha Banks. Scooping her up to the top rope. Sasha Banks in trouble. Shayna grabs her. Oh boy. Baszler looking to come off the top. Look at the strength of Baszler. Gut wrench from the top rope. Cover on Banks. 1, 2. Oh! Sasha kicks out. And now Shayna's calling Banks up to her feet again, and Sasha Banks. Baszler went for the kick. Banks spins her around. Banks kicks her. Sasha into. Bankrupt. Stacks her up. 1, 2. No. Sasha. Oh, that's a long way to go, pal. It's a long way. You gotta jump, friend. Oh, she was gonna make it. She actually had it. Baszler takes her down. Baszler grabs her by the arm. Wrenching in on that arm of Banks. And now Banks rolls through. Back to her feet. Sasha Banks now. Elbow to Baszler. And now Baszler with Banks. Oh, off the turnbuckle. Picks her up to her feet now. And Baszler with a right hand turns Banks around. Banks counters. And now Banks. Right hand from Baszler. Baszler's got her down. Banks rolls back to her feet. Banks rolls Baszler through. Cover. Rope break. Banks caught by Baszler. Sidewalk slam from Shayna. And there's Shayna picks up Sasha, and Shayna Baszler grabs her. Suplexes her into a cover. This time Sasha saved by the rope break. And now Shayna picks the #1 contender up, and Shayna, for her right, Banks fires back with one of her own. She's got Baszler in the ropes. Sasha, third time, the swinging neck breaker off the ropes. And now Sasha calling up Baszler. Sasha Banks grabs the Queen of Spades into Banks' statement. Banks' statement is in. She's wrenching it back with all of her might. She's got it locked in, but Baszler is fighting. Baszler is not going to give up easily. Sasha Banks wrenching it in with all of her might right now. But Shayna Baszler is a fighter, like I said. Banks try as she might. I don't know if she's going to be able to get her here. As I said, Baszler, a fighter. Not going to give up easily. Banks has it in tight, though. Banks holding on with her. Holding on for dear life. If she wants anyone to believe she could become SmackDown Women's Champion this weekend, she's got to be able to put Baszler away. But Baszler is still in this somehow. Still hanging on in this Banks statement. Has been holding on now for about a full minute. Sasha can usually end it with the Banks statement pretty quickly in matches like this. Oh, but Baszler manages to roll through. Cover on Banks. One, no, Banks manages to get the shoulders up. Baszler didn't tap out. And now Baszler pulling back on the arm of Banks. Baszler trying to snap the arm now. Banks is down as Baszler picks her up now, and Shayna grabs her into the corner. Oh, Sasha, you don't want to go for that ride again. And no, she doesn't. Sasha fights out. And Sasha elbows Baszler. And Baszler headbutt to Banks. Baszler now with Banks again, back across the ring, into the corner. Sasha counters. And again, she tries to pick up Baszler, but Baszler plants herself right hand to the back. And now Baszler with Banks into the corner. And Shayna Baszler. No, Sasha counters. Sasha rolls Baszler through. Cover. Sasha Banks. 1, 2. She got her. There were 3 other sides of the ring you were closer to. Sasha Banks had to get innovative to put Baszler away there. Baszler, after fighting out of that Banks statement, I think Sasha didn't really know what to do, so she did whatever she could, because you see there, she couldn't even get it locked in before Baszler got out of it the first time. And then it was all Baszler for a while, but Sasha finally managed to keep Baszler down. Shayna is pissed. But Sasha Banks is the winner. So what an opening match we just had there. Sasha Banks knocks off Shayna Baszler. John Cena gets a singles win over Otis. The New Day, who will be challenging in the Triple Threat ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Titles this weekend, knock off Lucha House Party. Toni Storm, the SmackDown Women's Champion, along with Candice LeRae, knocked off Nia Jax and Tamina. Up next, we're going to see Randy Orton take on the #1 contender to the Intercontinental Championship, Dominik Dijakovic. And in the main event, the #1 contender to the World Heavyweight Championship, Drew McIntyre, takes on Bray Wyatt. So this is going to be a huge test, much like Baszler was a huge measuring stick for Sasha Banks. This is about to be a major measuring stick for Dominik Dijakovic. Randy Orton making his way to the ring. Randy Orton making his way to the ring tonight. Here comes Dominik Dijakovic. Dijakovic taking on Roderick Strong for the Intercontinental Championship at TLC this weekend. But tonight, he's got to go through Randy Orton. Here we go. Randy Orton scoops him up. Dijakovic plants himself back in the mat. He kicks Orton. Dijakovic throws Orton down onto his neck. And now Dijakovic with a jab and another. Dominik Dijakovic now grabs Orton, throws him up the ropes. Dijakovic with a shoulder block. And now Dijakovic picks up Orton, jabs him again, knocks him back off the ropes. Goes Orton. Dijakovic with an arm drag. Picks him back up to his feet now, and Dijakovic, Orton catches him, clotheslines him. Orton's got him down, and now Orton picks Dijakovic up in a seated position. And Dijakovic with a right hook. Dijakovic firing away. Spinning wheel kick. And look at Dijakovic now, outmatching Randy Orton right now. Dijakovic's on fire. Orton claimed earlier tonight, backstage, he told officials that the reason that Dominik Dijakovic won that Battle Royal last week was simply because Randy Orton wasn't in that Battle Royal last week. And Randy Orton believes he should be #1 contender to the Intercontinental Championship. Dijakovic German suplexes him. And now Dijakovic picks Orton up, and Dijakovic pulls him in for a gut wrench. Dijakovic now picking Orton back up to his feet again, and Dijakovic, right hand from the former North American champion. Orton pulls him in, and Orton scoops him up, and Orton into a fall-away slam. Dominik Dijakovic, right hook. Oh, Orton slaps him in the face. I heard him right. He called him stupid with that one. Dijakovic out of the ring. And now Dijakovic pulls himself back in. Jabs Orton. Orton grabs Dijakovic. Drop kicks him. Dijakovic starting to get up, but Orton knocks him back. Orton picks up Dijakovic. And Randy Orton lifts him up. Look at this. Orton's got him up on his shoulders into a neck breaker on Dijakovic. Orton into a cover. 1, 2, no. Dominik Dijakovic kicks out. Knocks him back with a right hand. Orton grabs Dijakovic. Dijakovic DDTs Orton. Now Dijakovic scoops him up. Dijakovic grabs him by the throat. Choke slam backbreaker. And now Dijakovic with Orton. Turns him around. What is Dijakovic doing here? Oh! Torture rack neck breaker. Cover. 1, 2, no. Randy Orton kicks out. Dijakovic now picking Orton up to his feet, and Dijakovic. Right hand puts Orton in the ropes. And now Dijakovic grabs Orton, picks him up, bounces him off the ropes. Orton now picked right back up again. Dijakovic, as I said, is dominating right now. Spinning wheel kick knocks back Orton. Dijakovic grabs Orton, and now Dijakovic scoops Orton up and lands him on the ropes. Dijakovic picks up Orton again, and Dijakovic kicks him. No. Orton counters. Randy Orton grabs Dijakovic. Randy Orton scoops him up for a suplex. Randy Orton's got him down. Orton now picks Dijakovic up, and Orton clothesline. And another. Randy Orton ducks Dijakovic into a power slam. Now Orton picking up Dijakovic. Spike DDT. And now Dominik Dijakovic dragged away from the ropes. Orton into a cover. Randy Orton. 1, 2, no. Dijakovic kicked out. And now Orton calling for it. Orton setting up Dominik Dijakovic. RKO. 1, 2, no. Dijakovic went for a clothesline. Got him with that one. Drop kick. And then Dijakovic picks up Orton, and Dominik Dijakovic grabs Orton by the throat. Choke slam backbreaker connects again. Cover on Orton. Dijakovic. 1, 2, no. Orton kicks out, and Dijakovic picks him up. Dijakovic with Orton up on his shoulders. Feast your eyes. Cover off the feast your eyes. 1, 2. Dijakovic just beat Randy Orton. Dominik Dijakovic just beat Randy Orton. What a win for Dijakovic. He is ready for Roderick Strong at TLC. But up next is the main event. The renewal of the rivalry between Drew McIntyre and Bray Wyatt. Main event up next. LS11 Universe has a Patreon. What's on the Patreon, you might wonder? Well, at any dollar amount, you get access to the LS11 podcast, a podcast that takes a deeper dive into canceled storylines from Universe Mode, as well as a look into the lives of myself and Ray. Also, at any dollar amount, you get early access to side series on the channel outside of the Universe Modes. Not just that, but at any dollar amount, you also get access to every exclusive Patreon video, including the likes of Carnold trying to break the streak in 2K14, and the once-a-month series, Universal Flashbacks, where I remaster a classic match from the original LS11 Universe Mode. At the $5 and above tier, you get your name in the credits of every video on the LS11 Universe channel. And at the $10 tier, you get a personalized thank you video sent to you by me every month, as well as the ability to suggest what pay-per-view or classic show we watch on the bi-weekly Friday watch-alongs. And once we've reached our big goal on Patreon, we'll be launching a Patreon-exclusive Universe Mode as voted on by you, our Patreon backers. So if you're willing and able, please consider backing us on Patreon. Link is in the description. It's main event time, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes the #1 contender to the World Heavyweight Championship, the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. McIntyre challenges Adam Cole this weekend at TLC for the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew looking to close out this year the same way he began it, with the world title around his waist. McIntyre marching down to the ring. Been a rough year for Drew since the season started. Lost the World Heavyweight title to Tommaso Ciampa. Ended up being tormented for a few months by Bray Wyatt. Tormented by the Undisputed Era. Couldn't really get his feet on the ground here on Smackdown. He didn't really hit the ground running like we thought he would. But now, he's got a huge opportunity to win back the world title at TLC. And tonight, he's taking on the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. We know the winner of Drew McIntyre versus Adam Cole on Saturday will take on the winner of Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble. That will be our first confirmed singles title match for the Rumble. Of course, the two Royal Rumble matches are happening. As Bray Wyatt making his way to the ring. Oh joy, the lantern has been turned back into the Fiend lantern. Oh joy. I'm not even going to bother explaining it this time. The game crashed like 3 times earlier today. So here you go with McIntyre and Wyatt. Last time these two faced off one-on-one was Battleground. Chop from Bray. He grabs Drew. Drew slings him into the mat. And now Drew spins out Bray Wyatt. Drew telling Killian Dane, don't make me come out there. And now Bray grabs Drew and throws him across the ring. Of course, it was Killian Dane and Wolfgang's arrival as the new Wyatt family that caused Bray to be able to beat Drew when they faced off at Battleground. It looked like Drew might have been setting up for the Claymore to end it. And Drew counters. Now Drew. No, Bray kicks him in the ribs. And now Bray. Right hand. No, Drew out of the way. Drew, right hand. Here comes McIntyre. Bray answers back with a chop. Bray with a right hand now, and Bray with Drew McIntyre. Grinding his face into the ropes now. Whips him off the ropes. Down goes Drew McIntyre. He's choking out Drew on the mat now. Bray Wyatt has him down, but Drew managed to get himself back up, and now Bray picks him up, and Bray Wyatt with McIntyre into the corner. Bray. No, Drew counters. And Drew went for a clothesline. Bray out of the way. And now Bray scoops up McIntyre. Spins him out and plants him knee into the ribs of Drew. And now Drew turned over by Bray, and Drew McIntyre kicked in the ribs. Bray Wyatt's got him in a safe position now. And Drew in some trouble as Bray going into the shoulders of Drew. Drops him. And now Bray Wyatt has Drew where he wants him. Kicks him in the back. And Bray Wyatt picks up McIntyre now into a standing position. Grabs him. Drew knocks him back, and now Drew. Chop to Bray. Puts him in the ropes, and Drew hangs Bray up in the ropes. Oh boy. Alabama slam. He grabs Bray back to his feet. Kicks him. Went for a chop. Bray countered. Bray's got Drew up, and now Bray with McIntyre runs him into the turnbuckle and power slams him. And Bray picks McIntyre up, and Bray, no, McIntyre counters. And McIntyre, right hand to Bray Wyatt, pulls him in, and back body drop onto the arm. Down goes Bray Wyatt. Drew now picking Bray up to his feet, and Drew McIntyre. Headbutt to Bray Wyatt. Right hand. Bray with a right. And now Bray kicks Drew. Takes him down. Drew trying to pull himself in the corner, but Bray picks him up to his feet, and Bray. McIntyre shoves the Either of Worlds back, headbutts him. Down goes Killian Dane. Drew telling Bray to bring it on. Drew. Claymore! One, two, no. Bray Wyatt was bought just enough time to kick out of the Claymore. Now Drew picks Bray up to his feet, and Drew, right hand, went for a chop. Headbutt. Uppercut. And now Bray grabs Drew. Pump handle. Picks him up. Slams him. And now Drew picked up by Bray, and Bray's got Drew McIntyre. And Bray Wyatt now with the Scottish Psychopath taking him towards the ropes. Drew answering back with some elbow strikes. Knocks him back. Drew McIntyre with Bray Wyatt. Headbutt. And a chop. Oh, I think they got each other on that one. Right hand from Drew. Bray staggers. Drew went for a headbutt. Bray knocks him back. Bray grabs Drew. Uranagi. Cover. One. No. McIntyre got the shoulders up. And now McIntyre being called up. Bray gonna look for the end. Gonna set up. Sister Abigail, no. Headbutt again from Drew. Kicks Bray in the ribs. Right hand to the back. McIntyre has Bray pulling himself in the corner now. And Drew Wants Bray to bring it on, but Bray in the turnbuckle gets slammed. And now McIntyre. Here we go. For a second. Claymore, no. Bray sidesteps. Bray grabs Drew, and Bray throws him across the ring. Stomps him. And now Bray Wyatt. Headbutt. Bray Wyatt's got him down, and Bray grabs McIntyre. Drags him away from the ropes now, and Bray off the ropes. Senton. Both men have hit each other with a lot tonight, but now Bray picks McIntyre up, and Bray Wyatt grabs Drew. Drew kicks him in the ribs. Headbutt. And now Drew scoops up Bray, turns him around, in the ropes again. Alabama slam to Bray Wyatt. And now Bray is down, and Drew McIntyre just trying to catch his breath for a moment, it would seem. Now Drew grabs Bray by the head and lifts him back to his feet. Kicks him in the ribs. Uppercuts him. Headbutts him. Spins him around. Drew hitting Bray with everything he's got right now, but Bray answers back. Bray went for a kick. Drew spins him around. Drew with an elbow. What the hell? Oh, come on, Bray. Headbutt to McIntyre. And now Bray Wyatt goes for Sister Abigail. McIntyre knocks him back. Claymore! Drew essentially said, none of that spooky ball. Cover. 1, 2. McIntyre gets the win. Drew McIntyre beats Bray Wyatt tonight. It took a couple of claymores, but in the end, your winner, the #1 contender to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Drew McIntyre. A huge win for McIntyre. That's going to do it tonight. Thank you all for watching Smackdown. I'll see you at TLC. Ray, we'll see you at TLC. It's going to be great. We got a lot coming up at TLC. I've been Xander, and that was Universe.